and welcome back to my channel. So we can celebrate, Taylor Swift officially owns her masters. If you've missed it, Taylor Swift has bought back her masters for her first 6 albums. So you know we've all been calling them the stolen versions for years now. They're no longer the stolen versions. Now it's going to take a long time, I think, to get used to saying that. I keep seeing people posting photos with the original versions of the albums on like Instagram stories and using the sounds, and I'm like, guys, no! And then I'm like, oh wait, it's okay. It's okay to do that. And I see myself clicking on the stolen versions, original versions, and I'm like, ah! And I'm like, oh wait, that's okay. Taylor owns them now. But it's a really, really weird feeling. I think because for 6 years now, we've looked at those albums like, no, don't do it. And now it's like, yay! It's weird. It's a weird one, but it's fun. But you may be thinking, now what? You know, we kind of always thought, oh, well, she's gonna release the 6 Taylor's versions of these albums, and then, you know, we'll be in Swiftie unknown territory. We're not in Swiftie unknown territory yet. Now, I know people may be panicking, thinking, oh my god, like, what's going on? You know, we're not getting Rep TV, we're not getting debut TV, all of this, blah, blah, blah. So let's talk about what is next in the Taylor Swift world. First up, we are getting debut TV. Taylor made it pretty clear in the letter that if we really, really want debut TV, she will give it to us. It is fully re-recorded. With Rep TV, I don't believe we're getting a full Reputation Taylor's version. I think what's going to happen is she'll maybe release a collector's edition or a deluxe edition of the original album with those first 15 tracks, and then add the vault tracks to it as like a little kind of incentive for people to buy this like collector's edition. But I don't believe she will release the re-recorded versions of those first 15 tracks. In her letter, she said she hadn't even re-recorded a quarter of the Reputation album, how she found it difficult to do, but she did suggest that the vault tracks would have their time to, quote, hatch. And she said that she didn't think she could improve on the music or the photos, the album artwork, or the music videos, and if anything, that's just a testament to how good the Reputation album actually was and still is. So I completely understand why people are a little bit disappointed, but I do think we're going to go back to the Reputation era in some point, in some way, just not in the same way that we have with the other Taylor's versions, but I do think we'll have kind of something there. And then with debut TV, I imagine we'll maybe get that in 2026, potentially for the 20-year anniversary of debut officially coming out in 2006, which is so wild. But we're still not in unknown territory, because even then we know that Taylor is working on a film with Searchlight Pictures. This was revealed actually a few years ago now, that she was going to direct a film with them. We know pretty much no other details than that, just that she's going to do a film with direct a film with Searchlight Pictures. That's it. I don't think we know anything about the plot. We know pretty much nothing, but we know it's going to happen, which is quite exciting. And with Taylor Swift, you never know when it's going to happen, because it's really, really fun, because she'll work on something and then just put it out and we'll be like, oh, we didn't even know she was doing that. How did that not leak? So that's always really fun. But yeah, no updates on that, just that we know it's coming. Obviously, if you're watching this in the future, we may have more updates, which is exciting. Let me know if you want me to do like more Taylor Swift update videos on here as well. I do them on TikTok a lot, but I know some people don't have TikTok, they don't like TikTok, that's fine. Some people prefer longer form content like this. So let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in, because I could work on making kind of more like news updates sort of videos and improving on that, if that's something people would like. But let me know if that's like something that you would be like, enjoy, or if you'd absolutely hate. I'd be curious. We don't know what this means, but for the final 3 Eras Tour shows in Vancouver, Taylor Swift wore the same outfits for all 3 nights in a row, and she also had cameras with her on stage and they were recording stuff. They were also recording content in London as well, especially of the crowds. So I do believe that we'll get something with that. You know, we don't know what is the simple thing. We don't know what it's going to be. There are so many theories out there of what it could potentially be. One of those things is an Eras Tour film too. For me personally, I don't see that happening. I think a lot of people wouldn't see it in the same way that they went out to see the first Eras Tour, because obviously it's very, very similar. The only real difference is a couple of songs are cut, and obviously we have the Torture Pose department set, which is the best set, mind you, but I don't see people going out in the same kind of force. Maybe it could go straight onto streaming, that's something, but it costs a lot to make a concert film, and whether it would particularly be worth it for a concert film we pretty much already have. Whether she just released the Torture Poets department bit as well, I don't think so. Just because obviously, why were they then filming everything else exactly the same? Like, why were they filming the whole show and not just that? So we don't know what's going on with that. Another theory is that it's going to be an Eras Tour documentary, but I think now we found out that she owns her masters, you know, she's managed to buy these back. Potentially it could be the journey of how she's gone from losing her masters, getting her masters stolen from her, all the way up to getting them. You know, it could be the full re-recording process, and I think maybe that's why we haven't had it yet, because it is a little bit of time that we've not heard anything about this recording. Like, we know it happened, but we've not heard anything about it. So there is a very, very high chance that potentially she's been waiting for this sale to go through. I imagine they've been negotiating the sale for a while. Scooter apparently had no involvement in the sale, despite a few weeks ago an article coming out saying Scooter was the one encouraging it. Taylor's team came out and was like, he was not involved at all. Maybe Taylor was waiting and Shamrock were waiting until Scooter would not benefit at all from the sale. That's why Taylor didn't, has talked in a letter back in like 2020 when she was like, Shamrock bought it. She doesn't want Scooter to like be involved at all because he still profits from them. So maybe there was a set time period of how long he would profit from that sale, and then this is the first date that maybe he wouldn't profit from it. But obviously, again, we don't particularly know. These are all just kind of like theories of what's going on, but I could really see that happening. I could really see it being some kind of like documentary or docuseries of this whole saga. I definitely always thought we were going to get like a re-recording sort of TV show, maybe like the documentary sort of thing, or potentially a film. I think a docuseries would work really well because you could do one for like an episode for each album, or a series for each album, because we did have that with Reputation where she released like short clips of her recording it, and I think people really like those, and they like to see the behind the scenes things of how these work, and I think people would really love to know how she picked the vault tracks and things like that. I mean, I certainly would love to know why she picked the vault tracks she did, because for some of the albums, especially with like Fearless, Speak Now and Debut, we know there were a lot of unreleased songs for those albums. We are aware of some of them because they've leaked in the past. Why weren't they included on the Taylor's version? Why did she pick these ones? I'd also love to know, you know, how she chose the collaborators on some of these songs. You know, some of them have collaborators, some of them don't. I would love to know how she chose these ones. I think it could just be really interesting. I'd also be really interested to know if she revisited the lyrics for any of them. I think personally she probably did, just because, you know, sometimes things work a few years ago and then they don't work in the future. Say if you change the melody ever so slightly or just change the song slightly, maybe the words just don't fit, so maybe she did kind of change a few words. I'd love to know a little bit more about that, but I just find Taylor Swift things interesting. You know, I would also really like to know kind of the difference between Fearless, Taylor's version, and how that was received, going on to Red, Taylor's version, that then had kind of an album photo shoot, going on to Speak Now, which had a full album photo shoot in 1989 that also had a full album photo shoot, and how it was a passion project and how the fans supported it so much. You can also then talk about the Eras Tour in that, obviously, because the Eras Tour is a big reason of why Taylor was able to purchase her masters with no strings attached. You know, she made a lot of money from that tour. We don't know exactly how much, but we know it was a lot. Like, you think 10.6 million people attended that tour. A lot of people wear that tour merch, so it is a big kind of deal. So yeah, I would really look forward to that if that's something that Taylor would do. That would be something that would be very interesting to me as a fan, but obviously it wouldn't be for everyone. But for me, I would watch it up, because I was going to say eat it up and then said watch it up. That sounded really weird. Ignore that. Miss Americana, people really enjoyed it. It was really interesting to see kind of what's going on behind Taylor Swift the brand, and how Taylor Swift the person is kind of coping through a lot of this really difficult stuff in her life. I think it would be really, really good to kind of see how she has done all this stuff with the masters. I'd be very interested in it, but obviously, you know, I'm just weird. And I think they are the main things we sort of know. Obviously, there are some theories about TS12. I don't expect anything from Taylor. You know, we used to have the 2-year album cycles. Torture Poets Department only came out last year. She very much deserves a break, so this is not me expecting that. However, there have been a few hints using the number 12. Obviously, you know, we had all those like clowning for the AMAs with the number 26, so a lot of these things are just coincidence. But she used 12 eyes in that letter that she knew we were all going to read and look for Easter eggs in, and the fact she used 12 rather than 13 I think is a sign. Obviously 13 is her lucky number. She will always use 13 for things, so if she's using 12, the chances are that something suspicious potentially could go on. You know, people have been noticing a lot of like lilac and kind of lavender colours going on. A lot of people also notice like orange colours maybe. They are kind of the theories at the moment. And at the top of the letter for this talk about her masters, there's a different kind of Taylor Swift logo too that people noted. But yeah, we don't know particularly what's coming and when it's coming, but we know lots of stuff's coming. Will Taylor Swift ever tour again? Most likely, yes. For most of her tour destinations, especially in Europe, she was like, I can't wait to come back and tour here. You know, I don't know why we didn't tour here for so long. I'm never going to not tour in this place. So I most definitely do think she'll tour again. A lot of rumours about 2026. I don't see that. I would see 2027 being more likely. However, again, you never know with Taylor Swift. She is unhinged and we love her for that. Now, I'm super excited for whatever comes next. I think as fans, I think we'll be treated a lot now she owns her masters as a thank you, because she does say a lot of this is because of the fans and how much they supported the re-recordings, because obviously they devalued the original masters. But also the Eras tour is obviously how she got the money to be able to pay for this, so she's very thankful to the fans. I think we'll be getting some old merch releases. That's how I would see. This is all just kind of theory, but she owns the album artwork now. You know, she can release like old t-shirts, she can release old jumpers, she can repress the vinyl for the Record Store Day 2018 vinyl, the ones that now sell for thousands of pounds or dollars, whichever currency you use. They were Record Store Day first, so technically she can repress those, and I think the fact that she used the vinyl in these photographs makes me think that was a sign to the fans, potentially, that she may repress those, and that would obviously be absolutely fantastic for me as a vinyl collector. I would love that. So I really think we will be treated with some exciting things in the future, because she owns these things now, and she'll want to celebrate owning them. She'll want to use these things, you know, she didn't buy them for supposedly $360 million not to use them, so I think we'll be getting some exciting things as fans. So although we're not getting Rep TV in the form people were expecting, and debut TV will come at some point, we don't know when it will come, there are still lots of exciting things coming in Taylor Swift world, so please don't be too disheartened, because this is something to celebrate as fans. It is an exciting thing, it's a great thing for Taylor, but also I think it'll be a really great thing for us as fans, because I think there'll be lots of new and exciting things going on. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. I love chatting with you guys in there. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe. If you watched me before, thank you, but if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It helps me out on the channel so much. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you want to. Please do. And as always, have a great day.